The animals in today's list don't only look prehistoric, they've actually been hanging out on the planet for thousands, even millions of years. Like this bovine that people say smell really awful, and this creature that's been on the planet for over 500 million years. First though, let's meet one of the only two egg-laying mammals in the world. Number 10. The Echidna. Echidnas are an amazing and bizarre creature that look like a cross between a badger, a porcupine, and an anteater. These animals so ancient that all four species of echidna today can trace back their evolutionary roots to around 17 million years ago, and they've survived virtually unchanged. They're a monotreme, a type of primitive mammal that lays eggs instead of giving birth to live babies, just like their famous relatives, the platypus. These animals can also be hard to find out in the wild, since they're small, mostly nocturnal, and live a spaced-out and solitary life. They're animals that prefer moderate temperatures and can be found escaping heat in shaded areas like tunnels, fallen logs, caves, or even underground. Similar to anteaters, echidnas use their specially adapted snouts and tongues to extract these small prey from hard-to-reach places. Echidnas also use an electroreceptive system to locate their food. They have 400 to 2,000 receptors in their snouts, making them incredibly sensitive to subterranean movements and therefore able to locate prey easily. While they're very hard to find out in the wild, most major zoos around the world have them on display. So go ahead, get a visit to know this amazing ancient animal. Or play Sonic the Hedgehog. Number 9. The Pygmy right whale. The pygmy right whale is an elusive creature shrouded in mystery as one of the most rarest whale species today, spotted at sea only a few dozen times at this point. Due to the rarity of live specimens and fossil evidence, scientists haven't been able to determine much about what they eat, their reproduction, and overall behavior. What we do know about pygmy right whales is that they're considered one of the smallest whales, measuring up to around 21 feet in length. They live in the open ocean and are generally believed to be confined to the southern hemisphere's cool waters. Besides their smaller size, they're characterized by an arched, frowning snout. With the recent discovery of pygmy right whale fossils in Japan and Italy, researchers suggest that the whale emerged from the baleen whale family between 17 and 25 million years ago. Others still argue whether or not the whale is a descendant of a family called Tuatara, a group that existed 23 million years ago. Regardless of their exact lineage, the pygmy right whale is again at risk. Just as the fossil evidence from Italy and Japan suggests, these whales are not made for warmer waters. As our ocean continues to warm due to climate change, the pygmy right whale's time on Earth may be in jeopardy. Number 8. The Musk Ox. Musk oxen are such smelly creatures that you can actually smell them first before you see them. This is especially true during the fall rutting season, a time when sexual hormones run wild. During this time, bull musk oxen fight for control of harems by sprinting towards each other and bashing their heads with such force that it can shake the ground from a long distance away. It's a wonder how these animals still survive, but it's estimated that they've been around for 187,000 to 129,000 years. In the 1800s, they were extirpated from Alaska, but after they were successfully reintroduced in the 1930s, the populations grew. Currently, there's several thousand musk oxen in Alaska, though their populations have been declining in recent years. Number 7. The Tuatara. The Tuatara may look like a rather ordinary reptile, but it's a highly unusual creature. This New Zealand native has a unique, ancient lineage that goes back to the time of the dinosaurs. Though they look like modern-day reptiles and lizards, they have a body structure that scientists believe has remained basically the same for 200 million years. For this reason, the Tuatara is of great interest in the study of the evolution of both lizards and snakes. Tuataras mature slowly, and don't stop growing until they reach about 30 years of age. It's thought they can live up to 100 years in the wild. Part of the reason for their longevity may also be their slow metabolism. Tuataras can tolerate much lower temperatures than most reptiles, and they hibernate during the winter. They're also born with a third eye on top of their head called the parietal eye, complete with a retina, lens, cornea, and nerve endings. The parietal eye is only visible in hatchlings as it becomes covered in scales and pigments after 4 to 6 months. Its function is a subject of ongoing research, but it's believed to be useful in absorbing ultraviolet rays and in setting circadian and seasonal cycles. Number 6. The Bactrian Camel. We're so used to seeing camels with one hump on their backs, but did you know that they have an ancient cousin that has 2? I present to you the Bactrian Camel. Bactrian camels have 2 humps rather than the single hump of their Arabian relatives. The humps function the same way, storing fat which can be converted to water and energy when sustenance is not available. These humps give camels their legendary ability to endure long periods of travel without water, even in harsh desert conditions. Scientists believe that the animal evolved this extreme adaptation around 200 million years ago. So basically, these guys roamed the earth with dinosaurs. Also, Bactrian camels are the only truly wild camels that exist today, with their one-humped cousins being domesticated for millennia. Number 5. The Horseshoe Crab. The horseshoe crab is one of evolution's ultimate survivors, dating back to 450 million years, outliving the dawn of dinosaurs and 5 mass extinctions. They're also not actually crabs. The horseshoe crab is actually classified under subphylum Chelicerata, along with scorpions, spiders, and ticks. The anatomy of the horseshoe crab consists of 3 parts: the front shell, the back shell, and the tail. Although you may think they're poisonous or can sting you, the horseshoe crab is practically harmless, using its tail as a rudder and to turn itself over if flipped on its back. Horseshoe crabs also have eyes everywhere, 10 in total. Besides their good looks, horseshoe crabs are important to the biomedical industry, where their blue blood is used to help identify bacterial toxins. If you've ever had an injection, vaccination, or surgery, you can thank the horseshoe crab for ensuring its safety. Not a rare sight by any means, horseshoe crabs are found on the eastern US coastline. You may have actually seen a horseshoe crab if you visited Florida's beaches, though. During the devastating 2018 red tide event in Florida, hundreds of horseshoe crabs washed ashore. Though they were once amazing at adapting to their environment, they're now facing extinction due to climate change, habitat loss, and overharvesting. Number 4. Shoebills have always been, and will always be, named after some kind of footwear. Despite gaining the unflattering moniker of ugliest bird in the world, shoebills are quite adept hunters. They hunt like total bosses of the swamp. Shoebill will stand there, motionless as a statue, and wait for some poor lungfish or baby crocodile to swim by. Then the bird will pounce forward, all 5 feet of it, with its massive bill wide open, tipping out whatever stuff it doesn't want to eat. When there's nothing but lungfish or crocodile left, the shoebill will give it a quick decapitation with the sharp edges of the bill, and then swallow away. With that, it's now time for the day's best pick, which is an ancient fish that many thought to be long extinct. No, not the one in this photo, but a fish that looks equally as striking. Find out more about number 3, the Coelacanth. Thought to have gone extinct 65 million years ago, the Coelacanth was rediscovered in 1938. The Coelacanth is predicted to belong to a lineage that's been around for 360 million years, and it's a fish unlike many others. Growing up to 6 feet or longer, the Coelacanth can live for longer than 60 years. It's also considered a member of the Osteichthyes taxonomic group that feeds on cephalopods and on other fish. What sets them apart, however, is their strange connection in the evolutionary process with terrestrial four-legged amphibians. Their 4 fleshy fins extend from their body and propel them in a way that resembles the alternate movements of fore and hind legs. Additionally, coelacanth possess a hinged joint in their skull to allow them to open their mouths wider, and a rostral organ, which is an electrosensory organ that allows them to detect prey. Both are characteristics that are no longer found in vertebrates today. There's many more characteristics that set coelacanths apart from other fish, but with poor construction, bycatch, and climate change, these ancient fish are again at risk of extinction. Number 2. The Babirusa. Babirusas are just like your everyday ordinary pig, although admittedly they can be quite irritable. They do, however, look positively prehistoric, armed with gigantic tusks that grow upwards right through their snouts and curve back towards their head. In fact, if unchecked for long enough, the tusks can pierce their foreheads. The lower tusks of Babirusas grow upwards as well, making the animal look somewhat like a pig version of an orc. They don't only look ancient, the fact is the animal species is ancient. Babirusas are old enough to appear on Indonesian cave paintings some 35,000 years ago, and they can still be found until today. In fact, there are several tour operators offering Babirusa watching safaris in the Nantu Forest and Tenggoku Nature Reserve in Indonesia. Number 1. The Nautilus. No, we're not talking about the submarine used by Captain Ahab. We're talking about the prehistoric animal that it was named after. Dominating the ancient sea 500 million years ago, the Nautilus was a mollusk that thrived when the continents were still forming. Originally, there were 10,000 different species. Today, only a few survive in the western Pacific Ocean and coast of the Indian Ocean. Chambered nautiluses hunt for fish, crabs, and lobsters by using chemosensors on their 90 retractable suckerless tentacles to pick up food scents. They use their beak-like mouth to pry open tough shells in an internal tube called the hyponome to regulate the amount of water and air in their shell. They mastered the art of buoyancy so well that we looked at the Nautilus to inspire the submarine. With gorgeous shells that come in an array of colors and patterns, the Nautilus is at risk of overharvesting. Additionally, they're considered a highly vulnerable species due to their low reproductive rates, slow growth, and late maturity. See you all next time!